I'm gonna say it, a lot of this is rooted in, they're threatened by Maria. It's insecurities. Maria is an attractive girl. On top of that, she's just so confident and sure of herself. And when you're somebody like that, it's intimidating to other people. And some people react in different ways. They've chosen to react to try and bring her down, basically. Hello guys, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. If you are returning, welcome to these Bachelor reviews. I am excited to get into this because I have a lot to say. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, and as always, I will be referring to my phone for my notes. But yes, Bachelor, this week's episode, a lot to talk about. And I hope you guys have many thoughts as well, because I want to hear what you think in the comments. We start with a flash forward and it's Joey sat with the women saying, you know, he won't stand for drama. And then we flash back and I'm like, oh no. So this is, as we saw in the preview, I'm guessing when Maria's name is being brought up. So then we go back in time and we see the girls in the house and they get the group date card and they meet Joey. It's like, I'm looking to find my Mrs. Right. So they go and they see Joey. Maria, my girl, she's the first to like run up. She wraps her legs around him. I'm like, okay. And then we have the asking ladies back. Now, comment below, who else watched Golden Bachelor? Loved it. Made me believe in love again. It was so pure. And I love these ladies as well asking. So it was April, Susan, Kathy, and Nancy. And they're here to host pageant, the Mrs. Right pageant, basically. So I'm like, okay, we always do around this time have some form of like pageant date or whatever. So we know what we're in store for. So there's different rounds. The first round is the Sunday, what was it? Sunday chill wear, which is cute. You see like different outfits that they all choose to wear. I'm like, okay, cute. Second round is a Q&A, which I'm like, okay, interesting. Let's see how they answer these questions that the asking ladies give them. And also what I want to see is Joey's reactions to all the answers. So I remember Kelsey's asked what she'd do if she's trapped in an elevator with him. And she said, make some great memories type thing. I'm like, okay, Kelsey. And he seemed to really like that. He also really enjoyed, who was it, Lexi's answer. I don't even remember what it was, but I just remember him in his like ITM speaking about it. And he seemed to, those were the two answers that stood out to me that, okay, he's feeling these two. Round 3 is talent. Edwina sings. And she says herself, she can't sing, but she chose to sing, I guess, to show that she's brave. And my first thought as well in this, and I really hope that people remember this, when it comes to the talent show, the Bachelor's not really looking for who's the most talented. It's who do I like at the end of the day? So do something to stand out to him, like draw him in, maybe make him feel involved, something along those lines. Madina does some form of headstand with her and I'm just thinking, if a guy did that, like say I was the Bachelor and a guy did that, I'll be like, okay, it's cool, but it's not going to make me pick you. Do you know what I mean? Lexi's talent is showing she's the world's best kisser. You could go two ways. You could say, okay, smart play, or I don't know, because it also depends on the Bachelor. So maybe she's read him and she knows what sort of guy he is. But we've known some Bachelors who would have probably felt uncomfortable making it a moment to kiss in front of the women when it didn't have to be. Like someone brought up, like if it was a kissing competition, fair, but it's not. But he's clearly attracted to her, so he didn't mind. And I guess he likes the boldness. And I think he said her lips were quivering, so he could tell she was out of her comfort zone. But in my head, I was thinking that could go one of two ways. Spoiler alert, it did work in her favor because she ended up winning the talent show, which a lot of the women were not happy about. And yeah, you hear like some of the women saying like she put in less effort than us, but got the reward. Anyway, cut to the night portion of the day. And we see, I think at this point, Lexi is sat speaking with Joey, but we see Leia and Edwina talking, saying they feel like she didn't deserve it, basically. I'm like, oh no, ladies, don't do that, because at this point, I really like them both. They're two that I do quite like. We'll get into that in a bit. And it never ends well, because the women can take that and say they were speaking about you behind your back, and it causes a whole different type of drama, which you don't want to be a part of when you're on the show. You just want to focus on your connection with the Bachelor, right? But again, Kelsey, how she chooses to handle the jealousy, shall we call it, is she sits very smart. She sits with Joey and says, me feeling that way about Lexi kissing you made me realize I do have feelings for you. That is a good way to go about things. Not speaking about it behind the back or saying they don't deserve it. Take it to Joey. Let him know you felt a certain way, but not to penalize him for it, but use it as an excuse to express your feelings. I really like what she did there and how she did it. I thought that was a great move. It probably was genuine and wasn't a play or a move, but I'm going to say great move. And then I'm thinking, oh no, because Maria sits Joey down and she's almost like calling him out for picking Lexi for, and all she did was kiss, and it was like, I thought we had to do a talent show. And how Joey responds is really good, to be fair. He's reassuring. He's like, listen, one thing I saw is you're clearly very talented. I wouldn't say you're not talented. He was like, he enjoyed what she did, but he's also receptive to what she's saying. And I think he appreciates that she's not, because here's the thing. On this show, a lot of women do have the habit of just, oh yeah, everything's all good and da-da-da, whatever you say. He's liking that he's getting to see the real her. I can tell that. She's not putting on a front. This is why Maria's my girl. You cannot make me hate her. Yeah, and I feel like he genuinely did appreciate that conversation with her, because she was being her true, authentic self and said, I don't appreciate that. And in relationships, you're going to have conversations like this. It's how you work through it together. Like, are you both receptive? Do you both listen to understand and not to respond? And you see that in that conversation between the two of them. So here's where this episode starts to get to me. Okay, we see Joey sat with Madina and he's asking her what was wrong at the cocktail party. I'm going to try and follow my notes, otherwise I will go on a tangent for like 10 minutes about this. So yeah, she basically tells him without saying names that she felt bullied because somebody was just... And I don't want to take away from someone's feelings, but I can't see where there was bullying there. I'm going to be so honest. She wasn't bullying. She was just trying to understand what was... Maria, was not bullying her. She was trying to understand. If anything, she was speaking highly of her at points as well. But we'll get into it more. Back at the house, anyway, Jen gets the one-on-one date and she says she was not expecting it. Neither was I. I'll be honest. I was surprised when she got it, but good for you, Jen. So yeah, Kelsey ends up getting the group date rose. And you can see there's definitely a connection there with Kelsey and Joey. I do see her going far. I'm not going to say too much because I don't know if I've mentioned, I'm doing a Bachelor Fantasy League with my sister and some friends. And they might watch this video and we haven't given our picks in yet. We give them probably tomorrow. So I don't want to give them too many inside clues. So next week's episode, I'll let you guys know my top 5 pick as well. But where was I? Yeah. On these dates, I would rather get the group date rose than win the date. Because there's 2 parts of the group date, right? There's the winner of the actual group date, which when you're called out and you're chosen as the winner, it does feel good. But then in the evening, you don't get the rose. So, Kelsey gets the rose. And then Joey obviously has the conversation we saw in the flash in the beginning of the episode of, I don't like this sort of drama. I was let know that there's been bullying going on in the house. I'm not happy about this, basically. So he goes, and Madina speaks up and says obviously it was her. And Maria's like, so you feel like I bullied you? You're saying that I was a bully. And she's trying to backtrack and saying, I didn't call you a bully. I said I felt bullied. They're one and the same thing. If you felt bullied, somebody is bullying you, right? If you felt like someone was rude, they're being rude to you. It's your feeling, but you feel like they are a bully. And she kept saying, I didn't say names. You said it. You know it's going to come out and it's going to reflect badly on Maria. I didn't rate it at all. I'll be 100% honest. Yeah. I think, and then, okay, wait, let me... Sydney butts in this whole conversation. And Maria's basically like, what did you say? Honey, be quiet, basically. And I agree, like, Sydney it's got nothing to do with you, but she really inserted herself into this situation, blew it up, made it 10 times worse, which we'll get into later. But I really love how assertive Maria's like everything Sydney's saying, she's like, okay, how? Tell me how. Like, back it up. You're not just going to throw things out there and not have anything to back up what it is that you're saying, which I really appreciate. And it's all too much for Sydney. She's got nothing to say, so she walks off. And then she comes back and she's like, what does she say? I will not stand for being attacked. I don't want to be in this environment. Da, da, da. I'm leaving. Anyone that wants to come with me, come with me. I'm just like, go. And nobody went with her anyway. And I'm going to say it. I don't know if you agree or not agree with me, but a lot of this is rooted in, they're threatened by Maria. It's insecurities. Maria is an attractive girl, and on top of that, like, even more so above her, like, beautiful girl, but outside of that, she's just so confident and sure of herself. And when you're somebody like that, it's intimidating to other people, and some people react in different ways. They've chosen to react to try and bring her down, basically. They're threatened and insecure by her, and how they're reacting, I don't rate it at all. Like, yeah, it's weak. Anyway, so we get the next day, it's Jen's one-on-one, and Joey takes her surfing. He's like, this is what a typical weekend with my partner would look like. And I'm like, damn it, I guess I couldn't be Joey's partner, because surfing, it's not it for me. And Jen, like, the whole time I was thinking, Jen does seem sweet, but is that all? And then when they're, like, cheersing, she's like, eye contact. And I'm a big believer in this as well, and I'm always like, make sure we make eye contact. And she outright says, like, point blank period, does not stutter, like, if you don't, it's 7 years bad sex, looks him dead in the eye. I said, oh, Jen, a bit of spunk. I like it, though, like, more character we got to see from her on this date. So yeah, it was a very cute date. It's not his wife, though. I think they had a good time. They both do really like each other. Yeah, I mean, in the evening portion, she opens up to him about, like, the dynamic of her parents growing up, and they would always argue. Her dad then moved to the basement, and she felt abandoned a bit, and now she doesn't have a relationship with her dad. Again, Joey, he listens so well. I think I said it later. I don't know when I say it in my notes. I saw it when he was talking with, I think it was when he was talking with Daisy. It really stuck out to me. I've been saying it. His eye contact, he stares down the barrels of these women's souls as he's talking. My gosh. But yeah, no, handles the conversation really well. Takes her outside, and there's, like, lights, and it's like, Jen, will you, and she's like, marry me? A bit soon. He's like, accept this rose. Very cute. They kiss. Lovely scene. Not his wife. And another thing as well, throughout the date, we do hear a lot of Jen saying, I can see a future with Joey. I see this being the sort of man I want, all of this. Sort of man everyone wants, to be fair. But we don't hear much of that from Joey, like we do hear him say about other women. Granted, it could be editing and they're trying to throw us off the scent. Maybe she's the one that makes it to the end and they're trying to not make it obvious. I don't know, but I'm not, in this moment, I'm not getting that feeling. So we then have the second group date, and it's a tennis date. The rest of the women arrive, and they're like, we have some really special guests for you. And all the women get excited because you're like, tennis, really special guests that he's bringing on. I think they thought it was going to be Venus and Serena or something. And two lovely people, they definitely did not know who they were at all. Joey is a huge fan of them, but yeah, they didn't know who these people were. So yeah, then they have a tennis tournament, but in like ridiculous costumes. And like there's moments, so it's like two people playing another two. It's like doubles basically. And when the other women are sat down, I'm like, you're missing an opportunity here. None of them are taking the time to speak with Joey, because they're sat next to Joey, to speak with Joey. Maybe a little flirtatious, like just a little something, or maybe they didn't show it. But I didn't see anyone taking advantage of that opportunity, because every time you have with him is precious because you don't have much, right? And it's a group date. But yeah, Evelyn and Kelsey T end up winning. I do really like Kelsey T. I feel like Joey really likes her too. I can't wait for their one-on-one. I know it's coming soon. That's going to be a good one. Their chemistry is insane. Yeah, so then we go to the evening portion. So we see, okay, this was my initial thought. We see Caitlyn telling Joey, all the women, there's a family curse. All the women are single and they're hoping that she breaks the curse. And I was just like, okay. In my head, I'm thinking, this is what happens when they force that when you have a moment with Joey, you have to share this like big story or something. And maybe she had nothing. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I would have kept that to myself. But maybe it works in her favor because she got the rose. I did not expect that. Then we see obviously Rachel come in. This is before Caitlyn's got the rose. Rachel has some one-on-one time with Joey. They are very comfortable together. They give I can see them as a couple. She gets her earring stuck on his sweater. I was thinking, I don't think that's ever happened to me. Normally it's my hair getting caught on people's stuff. Actually, tell a lie, it's happened. Awkward, but you laugh it off. They played it off well. They handled it really well. And she's telling Joey he reminds her of his dad. Yeah, I said that in the right way. Of her dad. See, I knew I was going to mess it up. He reminds her of her dad. There we go. How do you feel about that? When, as a guy, if someone told you that you reminded them of their dad, is that a nice thing to hear? Or maybe you don't want to hear? I don't know. Just a thought, comment below. So back at the house, Sydney is speaking with Leia. This disappointed me to my core. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So we see Sydney speaking with Leia, saying she's going to speak to Joey about Maria. This can't go on. It's jealousy. It's actually jealousy. You're a hater. Anyway. But I wasn't surprised by that. But what disappointed me, Leia? And Leia was egging her on, and I was like, guilty by association, you know that saying. But also, you are the company you keep. So the fact that Leia's egging on for this to happen, I really did side-eye her in this moment. I thought I liked her. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, she was someone I kind of liked. But now, I'm looking at everything else, and she was... Even her advisor saying, this is your moment to show you have grace and da-da-da. So I was like, you deciding to throw that card in the fire and crying, saying it was too much. Was that all an act? Are you here with a game plan? That's what it's given to me a bit, I'll be honest. And I know people really like Leia, don't come for me, but after this, unless they edited that conversation, I want to believe that that's what happened and you're actually a good person. But not saying she's a bad person, but yeah, I don't know. I have my thoughts with a few of the women. We'll get into that later, but yeah. So yeah, then we see Jesse come to the mansion and let the women know there won't be a rose ceremony. I think every time he comes in the daytime and says that, they should know it means it's going to be a pool party, which we find out it is. And then he also lets them know Joey wants them to have KFC. And I'm like, no, he does not. It's the producers, the execs. You know what? KFC gave them a big paycheck and they said, you know what? We want you to have KFC. We want this money. Because I have never seen people that excited to eat KFC before. They were like, oh my God. They had just been saying, I don't even know. But guys, come on now. So, I'm going to remain calm for this next section. I'm going to follow my notes so I don't go off topic and lose it. Sydney pulls Joey to the side and says, you can even see it in my face, and says Maria attacked Madina. I'm thinking, did she? She really did not. She spoke very calmly. Just because someone can be assertive does not mean they're attacking you, by the way. Anyway, and in this moment, I'm gutted. Because at this point, there's no way that Maria I can't see Maria being the one that Joey ends up with, because there's gonna be a stain on her name, even if it's cleared up. When accusations are put on someone, even when they're proven wrong, the stain remains. The stain remains. Anyways, yeah. So Joey pulls Maria to find out her side of what happened. And you can see she gets flustered with emotion, because to be called a bully when that's really not what she did, and she opens up like she was bullied, that's the last thing she'd ever want to do. So to have that thrown on her, it's like, and you can see she's struggling with it, but Joey can see the genuinity, is that a word, in her face, which I wasn't sure if he was going to see, but he like reads the situation really well. So props to Joey and his like emotional intelligence, all of that, just picking up on all of this, because many bachelors just sometimes, yeah, it's helpless. And yeah, Joey even says, you're right, I didn't question Sydney enough. She threw out statements and I didn't actually question them. And Maria makes a point to say, if you like Sydney, you can't like me. And a lot of times I was like, no, because a lot of times when women have said that to The Bachelor, they're like, they don't. I love Joey. Here's why, okay. Because when a lot of other women say this to The Bachelor, they're like, oh, you're challenging me, it's my show, da-da-da. They don't like it, and that woman goes home. But you can tell Joey is someone that listens and understand, and isn't like, I am the man, I have to, like, he took that in and he got what she was saying. It wasn't like she's giving him an ultimatum. Yeah, which I really, really did appreciate. But in that moment, and when I hear Joey repeat it in his ITM, like, she's right, they are two different people. I can't like them both type thing. I'm like, damn it. I knew they were both making it through, but they're going to be on a 2-on-1. I knew that's what was going to happen. And I'll pause for a second. But another thing, I didn't appreciate none of the women speaking up. Like, nobody even said, okay, Sydney, this is enough now. It's only when they realize, because, spoiler alert, the pool party gets cut short after that and he needs time to think and he goes home. And it's like, okay, now you have an issue because your time's being taken away. But when someone's being wrongly accused, maybe some people said something to Sydney and it got cut out. But I don't think I'd be able to sit there, hear someone accusing someone of bullying when they didn't, and not be like, girl, really? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I know you're there for The Bachelor and you don't want to get caught up in the mess. I get that. But just to not even in... Some people said it a bit in their ITMs, but if I was Maria watching this back and hearing lies being spewed that other women knew weren't true, and they just sat there, it would be a bit disheartening. Like, but Sydney, I'm not even faulting the women, because listen, you're there for yourself, I get it. But Sydney, I'm so sorry. Anyone that comes with that whole play of like, they realize Bachelor's not into them, so you decide you're going to try and take someone else down, he's still not going to want you. I said what I said. Anyway, yeah, they both end up getting a rose at the rose ceremony. Who goes home? Evelyn. By the way, Evelyn was stunning. Sad to see her leave. At least she gave us that table jump. I think that secured her a place on the beach in paradise, at least. I do hope to see her there. And she left, upset, but still head held high and shoes in her hands. And I rate her for that. She said, I've been on my feet all night. I'm going to walk out with my shoes in my hands. Fair play to you, sis. But yeah, obviously that's where it ends. And as I said, Maria got the rose before Sydney. Maria got her rose before Sydney, but I knew Sydney was going to get the final rose. I knew it was going to be a 2-on-1. And we see in the preview, it's a 2-on-1. And I hate that for Maria, because it's very rare that someone that makes it to the final has been in a 2-on-1. It's happened before with some people, but the minute you're put on a 2-on-1, it's a bit like a kiss of death. And I'm so gutted. It was... Listen, comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you feel like it was insecurity, jealousy that led... Because Madina was definitely a part of it. Madina and Sydney to just try and take Maria down like that? Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of the episode in general. I'm curious to see, and we can talk some more. I see comments going on. Also, I saw Maria actually did comment on my last video. I would have these thoughts regardless of whether or not she commented or found the video. Like, I think amazing woman. Love how she's carrying herself on this show, how assertive she is, how sure and confident in herself that she is. And it's a shame that people are trying to take her down because of that. I hope we get to see her for a long time on this show. I doubt she's going to be the one going home after the 2-on-1, even though the previews do make it seem otherwise. I will riot. Rock Nation will crumble if she goes home. But yeah, as always, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff I'm meant to ask you to do. Please do. And I'm just rambling now, and I don't really know how to end this. So I'm just gonna go.